That's Jen. Good evening and welcome to IX Growth Trainings. My name is Sarah Shabbat for those of you who are just seeing me for the first time. I'm sorry I'm not on camera. I'm just had a medical procedure and I'm not in the most beautiful state. So I've decided not to be in front of the camera today, but thankfully we have Doug Corbett and Eric Garrison who host these trainings with me every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we meet up before each of our trainings and we talk about what we're going to be training on. And I know that we say this in each training, but we really don't want these trainings to be us just talking at you. We really want this to be interactive. And open. Give me 1 second. And we today are going to be training on, well, Eric will be talking about how to maximize the comp plan. And we want you guys to feel like very comfortable opening up and asking questions or sharing anything that you may feel like pertains to what he's talking about. And then we'll go from there. We'll do Q&A. And I'm just going to let Doug and Eric kind of lead it from here. And everybody, please get ready to participate.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. How are you? Good. Everybody's doing good. Having a good week?
Yep.
Great. How are you, Doug?
Good. Doing great. Yep.
So I'll just kind of talk a little bit about, we were talking a little bit earlier of something and, something that people need to understand a little more in this as building the business side is understanding the compensation plan, because I think people get a little confused. Those that are trying to build this get a little confused on what they need to do to get to the money, because the business side is that it's getting to where the money is and how to do it effectively and quickly. I've dealt with a few compensation plans over the years, and this one by far in our group and in our team seems to be the one that people can get to the money very, very quickly in this. How many here agree with that have been building it?
Yep.
Good. Okay. So one of the things we want to do is teach you what myself and Doug have been doing with our group to help them shorten that time frame to get to the money and making it almost kind of fun. When we bring somebody on, we typically spend the time and the effort to do what's called an onboarding, meaning we like to go over, the Telegram groups, the Facebook groups, hit on the compensation plan so that they can understand that, hey, if they do choose to build the business side, what they need to kind of look for in building that, and then just spending the time with them, helping them understand, how to reach out and talk to people, and then how to kind of funnel them through the process of being able to get them signed up and put into the system. I know Doug was going to kind of talk a little bit about the thing that's great about this is what Doug is going to talk about is this is a binary plan. So I don't know if you guys have dealt with other plans out there, but they can be very, very, very complicated. And I do like what they've put together here because it's very simple. It's a very simple process once you really kind of understand how to build this. And I think Doug is going to share a little bit on the binary side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I'm going to do that. So I didn't know if you wanted to get into how you hit the 8750, how you get from 8750 to 200 a week. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to talk about placement?
Yeah, we can. The easiest way to do this, and I hope everybody has their screen pulled up or has access to their screen. The easiest way to share this, and I don't know if I'm sure probably most everyone in this group and in our group know where to find the rank analysis. And I highly recommend using this tool to allow you to be able to see where you are at in the business side of things. Okay. This is important because what it does is it's an overall 30,000 foot view of what you're doing yourself and others in your team as well, because you can look at where they're at. So let me kind of break this down a little bit. So yeah, this is the rank and team performance. The first step I like to teach to people that are getting involved in this is I call these the red lights and green lights because that's kind of what they are. When these little circles here around these heads here are red, you're stopped. You're really not making the money that you could be potentially making. So when somebody comes on board and they want to build the business side, I really kind of focus on them getting these 3 lights turned on. And I like to say 4 lights because that kind of unlocks all 4 doors. Okay. And I look at it as these 4 people coming on board are keys to those doors. None of those doors open unless these start to come on board and turn over to be green. Okay. So we can look at this as the first step in this. And if I go back here, you can actually pull this right back to the very beginning if you want to. Let me show you here. Okay. So when you come on board at the apprentice level, which is the you go from a builder to the apprentice, you've got to have at least 1 active person on your left side and 1 active person on your right side. And you yourself have to have a minimum of 40 PV. This is a pretty easy step to take. This is that first step to take to actually open a door so that you can start getting money in building this business. And once you get to this point, it's all it is duplication from that point, because once the apprentice side is set up, it's just steps to the next one. So then you go from the next one, which is now you're going to the builder. And now you see here, you have to have an 80 PV. Okay. So your PV has to go up, meaning your personal volume. How do we get personal volume? We buy things, we buy some micronodes, we buy some perpetual or whatever it is that will go to your personal volume. That will help you out with your personal side. But notice you're still having 1 on your left and 1 on your right at this point. Okay. Now, what this does is allows you to be able to now start building, and then you have to have a qualified rank business volume. So when we go back to the first one, when we go back to the first one, this is basically the first step is 320. You pretty much can do that on your own. It's not real complicated to do that. It gives you a few dollars. Basically that's just a few people coming on and purchasing some micros at this point to get to that point. But when you go to the builder, then that next step can be a little harder. And this is where the 4th person, I say, comes involved in this, because right now I'm just teaching people to get 1 on each side. Then you start to get the 3rd person on, and then you want to have 2 on your left side, and then work on your 4th person to get that 2nd person on your right side. And then that allows you at that point, which I call the keys. Let me go to executive producer. Now you've unlocked all those doors. Okay, so what does that do when it's unlocking those doors? That's now allowing you to be able to qualify and get the bonus pools. Plus, you also get the benefit of hitting those rank rewards, is what I call them. You start getting the ranking rewards on a weekly basis as well as you're building this. So my goal when somebody comes on board in my group, I try to really focus on them to get to this level right here, executive producer. Because once they get to right here and can start, getting the bigger volume, they've hit all of their minimum requirements. Now it really turns into the sales side, because as they keep these 2 on the left, 2 on the right in place, you focus and you work with those 4 people. is what I have been doing. And then helping them grow and build from that point. Because as you do this, all you're doing is more and more cells that come in, your rank volume is increasing and increasing and increasing. If you notice, your PV is staying the same as you click through a lot of these levels right now. Now your PV, once you go to influencer, what does that mean? Your influencer PV went from 80, you got to have now a minimum of 100 on PV. What does you do? You buy a little, you'll buy a little more on a personal level. And now your target is your 25,000. So you're working with those people on getting more and more and more cell side going. And also, and this is where Doug will come into play here. He's going to talk a lot about how to build and grow the binary aspect of this, because once you get to this point, your team is starting to really blossom. And those that are above you that have brought you on are helping you build your one leg. We build when somebody comes into our group, we're just sitting there building that left leg down. So as we sign up people, we just keep building that left leg down. And Doug will cover that. On the right side, we teach people as we're going along to fill that right side. So as that volume starts to come, because remember, you get paid on the weakest leg. So that's what we like to do in our group, is really focus on helping those starting out so they can basically get to the executive producer level. I do get them to the executive, because now they're having the taste of the money that is coming in on this. Okay. If we scroll down more on this, you'll come down and you'll actually see, let's see, we'll go back to money. So as you come down here, the other part you want to take into play is this is your total qualified business volume right here. Okay. You're ranking your business volume. Your next target to hit your next goal is right here, is the 50,000 for me right now. That's my next goal that I'm focused on the sales side, because I've hit all the requirements that are needed here now. Now I'm just working with those in my team to hit this sales side. Okay. And be able to start bringing up those numbers higher and higher, because that adjusts also on Fridays. So you got to keep track of where you're at as the volume falls off after that 28-day period.
Eric, can you explain all the ways that all the things that impact that number, that QRBV?
Okay, I apologize. I didn't hear a word you said. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let me just see. Somebody was unmuted. Okay. What I was asking is, can you explain a little bit about the number in the yellow box, the QRBV, and how that changes based on what rank? Like you can use a drop down and look at what gets unlocked as you go down.
Yeah. And yes, and so you can actually go in and view your whole leg, and then you can see orders and volumes and those, and where everybody is in your group, and as it's bringing down to actually give you the total volume of this. So remember, this number here is the total from all of your volume underneath you that is involved basically in your group. Okay.
Personally sponsored. Yep.
Yes, correct. So that all that volume is coming up to you and is allowing you to be able to hit those goals as you're moving along. And you know, I talk to a lot of people that are down even further in my groups, because I keep kind of an open door to help as many people as I can. And I have found that as people, you know, they leave the company or they're not involved anymore, and then there's so-and-so that's still down in there that they're doing. You guys, I've been working with them and helping them as well, because I benefit from these volumes. As these volumes roll up, I still benefit from them. And so I've been doing a lot more of that in my group to kind of help motivate, and so that they understand. I have found that the biggest roadblock in people building and wanting to grow is not understanding the business plan side of things. Okay, so important. And you can make it very, very easy for people to understand this. This is not complicated once you do it a few times, because you'll actually see how the whole process works and how it all comes together. And if you're willing to literally take people along this process, they'll greatly benefit from it. Now, one other thing, let me go back here and I'm going to show you another thing that I use daily. If you go down here to the team analyzer, okay, and you can go in here and you can pull up anybody you want in here. Let's just go.
Crypto Dreams.
Here you go. Yeah, we'll do you. And this, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but this is back here. And so when you're working with somebody and you're helping them grow and build, you can literally go click on this and you can pull up their back end and you can see where they're at. And I have found this is powerful for those because you can say, hey, okay, you got 2 of the green lights. Let's work on getting you a 3rd one. That will then allow you to go to the next level so that you can start making a little more. And then we can also then start focusing on getting this volume to the 3,600 that you need to have to hit that next rank and move to that next level. That way you are being rewarded for what you're doing. And I use this practically every day with people so I can get an overview of where they're at and what their personal goal is and what I can do to help them get to that point. With the binary, you guys, it's really simple. I find it simple to start really working with them and building that momentum as it goes along. So, but this is what I wanted to share with everyone, just so that they can see how, you know, we don't need to overcomplicate this. I listen to a lot of these compensation plans videos, and they can be overwhelming. You know, the best one that I like personally, I like the Mike Healy video. He takes it, it's very basic, and he takes it step by step by step. But really, when it all comes down to it, this is about your most important part is the team analyzer and the rank analysis. So you know where you're at and then how to build from that point. So.
Yep. All right, that's great, Eric. Yeah, that was great. So I guess, you know, before I jump into doing some of the next step, I want to see if there are any questions on this.
Yeah, let's see if there's any questions here. I can't see here.
It doesn't look like there's any in the chat, but you guys feel free to unmute and chime in if you have any questions.
Okay.
I have a question. I have a question there.
Yes.
Eric, you were, now I don't know if this is just based on the leg that you are building, but my strong leg happens to be the right, but you mentioned the left. Does it matter one or the other, or is it just?
I'll explain a little bit of that more as we get into the binary side of it, but Eric, you want to answer?
No, so the way that their binary is put together on this is your weakest leg is what you get paid on. Okay, so if you have a stronger leg on, like on your instance, on your right side as that's going along, you know, you're getting paid on your left leg because that's your weakest leg as it's growing. Okay, so what I have found, those that don't have a lot of help from above in helping place, because what we like to do is we like to run that volume down as deep as we can to help those out that are in our group. And so if you're not getting that volume that's coming down, then you got to kind of have to actually go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the reason why I say that, Casey, is because eventually you're going to get one of the guys that's going to get on board, and then all of a sudden they're going to light up and go, hey, I want to build this thing. This is exciting. And next thing you know, they'll have 30, 40 people coming on board. And all of a sudden that will be your strongest leg that's running at that point. Then you can focus on that weaker leg and then start growing on that. The goal is eventually you're going to have powerhouses in both legs that are really, really running. And then that volume will continue to grow and grow and grow and help you push your numbers up to get your levels.
Yeah. Excellent. So just as a quick refresher, I just want to say that when I explain the comp plan, I say, you know, when you sign somebody up, you know, you're going to get bonuses on what they buy. That's not really something to worry about. It's so easy, so simple. It just happens automatically. We're not out there churning, just trying to sign people up and make money. Well, you know, what people come in with, we make an instant bonus. That's great. So then I talked to them about what Eric just went over. And you know, the first step, getting to builder where you're making $87.50 in this program is relatively easy. So that's one way we get paid, are these weekly rank bonuses. And so that's the first thing to focus on, to get somebody to 87.50 a week. That's almost $500 a month. That buys that covers their 250 micros and a little bit more, and some of their business expenses maybe. And then the next one, which is producer, is $200 a week. I mean, that's almost $1,000 a month, just the second tier. So just focus on getting people there. The rest will take care of itself pretty much. So based on, did you want to jump in, Eric? Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say 100% what you're saying is true. I have learned that if you get the groups or the individuals to the $200 a week, they're on their way at that point. And it really, really grows quickly for them, because then their bonuses start to come in as well as it's growing. So that Doug hit on something, and I apologize, I was gonna say, but if you can get them to that $200 a week, that's where it really starts growing for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I just want to say, I've been building these things since I signed up. My girlfriend signed me up for Herbalife in 1984. And when Mark Hughes was still leading the meetings here in Southern California, the founder of Herbalife. So, that's how long I've been doing these things on and off while I've been running other businesses. But, getting somebody to $87 a month, just focus that alone. That's more than 90% of people have ever made in a network marketing company. So I don't want to get, because, especially, looking at Eric's screen and his numbers and things like that, it can be a little daunting. But I think if we just stay focused on when people first come in, get them to that first tier of making almost $100 a month. Because also, if they've got their 3 people, they're getting another $100 a month. Right, which helps cover we used to cover the membership. Now it goes towards your $250 micros or whatever you're doing. So, so what I wanted to do, so the 2 places we make the money are on the weekly bonuses, and then on the binary. And what I want to do is I want to play. Let me just pull this up. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a screen share here, and just a second here. Let me see if I can find this. Yep. Okay, can you all see that video? Let me just start.
Hi, it's Phil Stone. We're going to talk about the
I just want to make sure, can everybody hear that?
binary compensation plan. And this is one building strategy that I think is really a strong one. These days, most of the newer and successful network marketing companies pay their distributors using some form of binary compensation plan. You build only 2 legs, left and right. So let's say this guy is your sponsor and he places you on the left. To satisfy the requirements of the binary comp plan, your sponsor will also need someone on his right, sooner or later, in order to qualify and get paid. And aside from special bonuses, each person is paid on the volume of their lesser or lower purchase volume leg. Remember that as we go along. Okay, so there's your sponsor. That's you. And if this guy at the top here was a good recruiter and found his right leg growing almost by itself, what we call a power leg, he'd want to place his next recruit on his left side. Remember, he'll be paid on the lesser leg. So the larger the lesser leg, the more money he makes. So he places this guy under you, right here. And your sponsor, the guy above you, places another person under you in that same leg. Then you recruit your first person. Where do you put them? Where's the smartest place to put them to help this thing build? On your right, right here, or on your left, right here. I mean, really, you only have those 2 choices. You might think you should place your new recruit on your right to start to build and balance your lesser leg with your strong leg. You have no right leg yet, so obviously you'd want to have that build at a point. But the best strategy is to put the first person that you recruit on your strong side, and in this case, it's on your left. Why? Well, you want to contribute to creating another power leg. If everybody does this, it's going to grow like crazy. So you want your own power leg, your power leg. So you put this guy here, and now you have the beginnings of a power leg, your left. And then you start building your right. When this guy right here brings in their first person, where should they be placed? On the strong side, they're right to start to build their own power leg. What about the guy above that, right here? Well, of course, on the strong side, they're right, at the bottom of their right, to start to build their own power leg. If you do it always like that, it works beautifully. Now think about this. What if this guy here puts the first person on the weaker side instead, on the left? And let's say for some reason they never bring in another person. Well, this guy is stranded now. He'll have no choice but to build both sides by himself. Now, that's not impossible. It just makes his job that much more difficult. And he's losing the benefit of the synergy that's built by the binary comp plan. Okay, so if this guy has not recruited anyone and they bring in their first person, where should that person go? Bottom of the strong side. In this case, they're right. If this guy has not recruited anyone yet and they bring in their first person, where should they go? Bottom of the strong side. In this case, they're right. What about this guy? Where should this guy put their first person? Bottom of the strong side. And in this case, it's their left. Imagine having your entire team duplicating this strategy. Always put the first person you recruit on the strong side. Well, that way, each person on your team will have the benefit of a power leg and only have to really concentrate on building one leg. The system does the heavy lifting for each member of your team that way. That's definitely how you want to do it. A lot of ways to approach this, a lot of opinions. Now you've heard mine, and you can hear more about what I think.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for going through that. I love that guy's like Mr. Rogers, and you know that binary was done back in the 70s or the 80s. And one of the reasons why I chose this one was because of that. I've looked at like 15 to 20 different binary training videos, and it's often there's so much, extracurricular stuff. This guy's he hits the main points. And some of the main points is your power leg you don't decide your power leg. How much money you have, how many people you have in a leg does not determine your power leg. This is really critical. You just whatever side your sponsor placed you on, that is your power leg. So if I'm under Eric's left side, my power leg is my left side. It never changes. So the way it worked for me, I happened to just jump out of the gate. I signed up a huge team on my inside leg, and I have much more volume on that leg. It's still my money leg. We're just waiting, and Eric and I are working on that power leg to get caught up. So one of the couple things in here that I want to just reiterate. One is some people require 2 to 3 people, your first 2 to 3 people to go in the power leg, because most people that come into these things over the last 50 years, they recruit 2 to 3 people. If they all go in the power leg, then the people in the upline can help work with those people, and they have a chance, and it builds even more momentum in the power leg. If they put 1 in the power leg and 2 on the inside, and that person stops, well, then either you need to build 3 legs, right? Or they just go and they just die on the vine, and all that volume and all that potential goes away. So anyway, so that's a really important part, that people don't get stranded. And the other thing I just want to say is there are always exceptions to the rule. When you recruit a really big player, somebody who you know is going to bring in 100, 200, 300 people, you may break this rule in the early stages. So, because I know some people on my team that brought in other big players, and they put them right on their inside because they knew that was a gift, and they knew they were going to build more than 1 leg. So there are exceptions to this rule, but I think it's important as you're building to just understand your first person at least always goes in your power leg, and preferably maybe even 2 or 3, and then start, because once you have 2 or 3 people, getting back to what Eric said, you really want to have at least 3 people in each leg. If you're trying to make $10,000 to $20,000 a month with this thing, you're going to need 3 people in every leg, because if somebody's credit card doesn't go through or something like that, you don't want to only have 2 in each leg and then you lose bonuses. So you want to have at least 3. So why not start with 3 in your power leg right away? Just get that handled, and then just all you do is focus on 1 leg. If you can get a number of people where all they need to do is build 1 leg, you have a much greater chance of having people stay with this thing. And you just focus on getting them to that $87.50 a month where they're in the black. I mean, that first thing is just, they're in the black. And the hardest thing is really the QRBV. And that's why I brought up I talked to Eric about it, and then I talked to Travis about it through the Facebook group is having the company come up with additional recurring buys where you can encourage you can do it yourself and have the people on your team buy more than one subscription. So you can have a $250 micro buy on every week of the month, because what'll happen is that'll even out these swings in the compensation plan. If you've got that volume coming in every week, you're just going to keep ranking up. You're not going to have these swings where you pull backwards. So I would try, I'm going to work with Travis on that and hopefully get with Joe and get that in where all they have to do is it's really easy to do. And then we could just set up recurring buys 4 times a month. And that's $1,000 a month. And I think, it's not for everybody, or they could do at $150. It's only $600 a month to have a recurring 3 micro buy every week of the month. And I just think that's one thing that could help. So anyway, that's just a little bit on the binary and how to build. And I'll just leave it there and see if anybody has any questions.
But one thing I want to just say is, this is, understand what we're sharing with you guys is our twist on this. It's not the standard way that is being taught. I'm just telling you, because, the compensation plan is a little bit different and how each person does it. With what we're talking about here with the binary side on being able to put those on the power leg, we find that works really, really well because of what our plan is with people when they get in. We want them to get to the business side of being able to make as much money as they can, so then they can fit, because we have an overall plan. We like to work with these individuals on being able to get more assets and get more micro nodes, and then start building those for themselves so they can start scaling up in what we do. If anybody watched a video that I was in, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I talk really, really a lot about starting small, scaling up and diversify, and then repeat that process. And this model, what we're talking about with our group, is a little different. It's got a little twist on it here, because when we talk to people when they're coming in, I would say 90% of the people that come in, their intentions are to build. They want to build because they want to make extra money, first of all, and cover their overhead with this. But then they also want to make additional to be able to start acquiring some assets, getting the coins, getting the perpetuals, and scaling that up over time. And so we have found, you guys, we literally had to start all over again and rebuild again, because our whole group just kind of like fizzled for a while. And I don't know exactly why it all happened or anything, but there was some things, some timing and stuff. But we kind of started all over, myself, Doug, and a few of us in our team. And we've done extremely well doing this, because now every person coming in, we've got a relationship with. We know where they're at, what they're doing, where they're at financially, what they want to achieve in the long run. Do they want to do this as a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? We really know where people are at with this. And we're not financial advisors. I'm just telling you, but we just have a really good relationship with the people coming in. And we have found those that are building, they're coming back over to us with those people, and we're building a plan for every one of them as well. And if there's anything I can say for you guys is, if you spend that time and that effort on really building those relationships with each individual, they're going to, first and foremost, they're going to last a lot longer. They're going to want to be part of this. They don't want to go anywhere. And the second thing, they're actually seeing the benefits coming from this. And, that's something myself and Doug, we wanted to share this with you guys this evening, because it's been working extremely well for the duplication side of things. So any questions?
Come on, Suzette. I see you're getting ready.
Oh, I'm looking at Emilio. I'm like,
Oh.
do you have any questions?
All right.
Well, we must be doing a darn good job then, so.
He's camera shy, so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe
We
that.
can't see you.
There was one question it's sometimes confusing to me. It's like when I see that I'm going for, in the builder level to producer, it says 3,600. And then all of a sudden I become producer, and then it's like 6,000. Now I have 6,000 somehow, 6,600 points or something. And, that's kind of just, I mean, I just don't understand why that happens like that. And it says, okay, now you're at 66 points and now you need 10,000 points or whatever to get to the next level. And so then if I drop below, then I'm back at 3,000 something. So
Mhm.
those kind of swings, I'm just not kind of understanding why that does that.
Let me just explain what Eric was showing you, where he was in the, did you guys know how to get to the rank analysis? So, over on the left-hand side, get to the rank analysis. When you scroll down, when you use the drop down to go from builder to influencer, say, it because some of your volume is capped.
Hey
That's-
Doug, I'm gonna open my back office while you're talking to show you again what
Oh,
that
okay.
is.
Okay,
But because Emilio, I even was telling Doug and Eric that we've had this conversation before, how
Yeah.
the volume rolls off. You guys have hit a rank and then you're like, wait, what happened?
mhm. Yep. So great. Yeah. So you can show that again. So what happens is they have to cap volume in order for the equations to all work. So, so for example, she's got 35,000 right now, but if you go backwards, so if you go back to producer, say, you'll see that the amount of volume she has is half of what she had before. Because at this rank, only this amount of volume, because a lot of it's coming from one or two people. And you can only, at certain ranks, you can only get so much QRBV from each individual. So that one person can't come in and blow the whole comp plan apart. So that's some of why they do that. But also, it also changes week by week. So you get the volume and it sticks for 4 weeks and then it falls off. So Eric
So,
is, go ahead.
If you don't mind, Doug, really quickly. So I just put ambassador because that's for when I was talking to Paul, he said, if you really want to see your volume, go to ambassador. And that gives you 50% from one leg, 50% from another leg. So for me, I have almost 73,000 in volume this week or this month, I guess. But what I'm actually showing as an influencer on my way to executive influencer, what just happened? Okay, there we go. So do you see the difference there, you guys?
Yep. So she has 35,908 towards 50,000 to hit this current rank she's going for. But if she goes to the next level just to see what it would take to go to the next global influencer, now you scroll down, she's got $66,000 available to her.
Yeah.
So
And that's because that volume unlocks at that point to go to that next rank. So yeah, we all deal with that same deal because it's locked volume. And so what that does is how the system works. And then you got to go out and get more volume. Well, how do you get more volume? You get more cells. And then it's those that haven't really been involved too much yet. Then I find those are the ones that I'm reaching out to, like, hey, how you doing? Have you had a chance to buy a DCM, or have you had a chance? Because then that's unlocking additional, cells with that volume, because I'm not capped on those individuals yet.
Yep. And I want to bring it back to the onboarding process. And I'm going to put it in the chat again. Well, I'll do it in a second. So we onboard people and we give them the company Telegram group, our private Telegram group, the 2 or 3 Facebook pages, Travis's 3-minute intro, the company's 3-minute intro. We set them up with all the things they need to just give people what they need to have a look at it. But part of it is just getting them onboarded properly and thoroughly, because this is an education. So unlike a lot of other platforms, there's a lot to this. They're launching a new L1 chain. Like most people have no idea what an L1 chain is, right? I could spend 3 hours explaining the significance of that and just scratch the surface. So, you can get in the weeds in this thing really fast. So I think it's important. The more we educate people, the more they're going to buy, the more they really understand. I encourage all of my people, as soon as they sign up and they move some money in, they've got to watch that video with Jason Anderson. I said, if you're going to put money in here, you need to know the guy that's running this thing. It's his vision. His brother, Jake, is involved as well, but you need to know who's running this thing. and also Joe Martinez. So the two of them, the CEO of IX Global and the CEO and founder of the Debt Box, it's 1 hour. But if you're going to move $1,000 or $25,000 over, you got to watch that thing. And then I, like with the video from yesterday, if they were, most of my people weren't on that call, they're working or whatever. I got them the link and I said, break it up into bits and pieces, but you've got to watch this thing. So, and then, watch it 3 times. There's so much to unpack on that hour video, but we can talk about it. And then it gives me a chance and talking points to really educate them on what separates the Debt Box from every other platform that I'm looking at. So anyway, that's my soapbox on that one. But yeah, you got to educate. It's a little bit of it is education, because when they get it and they really get this, how secure this is, how safe, I mean, it's a long-term safe place to put your money. And that's why it's okay to also go a little bit slower. Like Eric was saying today, some guy that's been he came in, he had a membership, didn't really do anything with this thing. Like, a few months later, he just dropped $50,000 today into this thing, right? So you just don't know. If you keep your people and keep educating them, even if they're not buying a lot, just keep educating them. One day it's going to go up. One day they're going to get a new job. They're going to get a $100,000 signing bonus. And they're like, well, I'm going to carve out 50,000 of that, send that into the Debt Box, because now I know what it is. And I'm okay writing a check for $50,000 because it's safer than the bank. I mean, if you were to get a $100,000 signing bonus, where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in a bank. You put it in a bank, you can't even get 10,000 out without, a rotary and
Meaning where it's going.
it's like, so, but you can't expect them to write a check for 50 grand until they really kind of get their head around who's running this thing, why they're doing it, that the whole company is operating Abu Dhabi, why they're in Abu Dhabi, and why the Saudi family donated a full floor so they wouldn't have to pay to have all these developers. All that stuff is really important, but we're a soundbite. We're a Twitter universe now. People you got to get them one little soundbite at a time is something that I found really effective in educating and keeping my people staying active. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
The Jason and Joe video that just came out is extremely powerful, especially for a lot of those that are sitting on funds looking to get in. Once I sent that video over to him and he saw that was the big deciding factor for him to say, you know what, now I want to get in because I can see what's coming. And if I don't act now, I may miss out on these nodes and the opportunity at these, the coins at these prices too. So
Yep.
that's what he was dealing with. One other thing I was going to tell you, if you guys haven't had a chance yet, look at that new video, that new blueprint video or whatever they just rolled out. Really, really good in your Biz Pro app. And that's a great video now you can share with people also, because it's got all the graphics and everything explaining the new L1 layer 1 blockchain and how it's going to work and how it's going to process quicker and what it will do. It's a very, very good video. The thing I love about it too is it's now it's one thing understanding the blockchain. The other side of it now is you understand the product and how each product works, and you're going to be able to track every one of those products, you guys, through that new back end. It's going to be really, really neat. I've never seen anything like this. So this
The
is
amount
awesome.
the transparency, what they're talking about, in your app on your phone, it's going to take a quantum leap in terms of what you're going to be able to see on all these projects. And that's all just transparency, which is so not what's out there in the marketplace. These guys, they're just holding nothing back with that. So also, I just want to say that the interview yesterday with Joe was with Jake Anderson. So it gave us a chance. Jake actually talked for an hour, and he's the one that actually introduced this. So, well, Jason did the other one that I was talking about that you mentioned, but the one yesterday was Jake. So you get a chance to, and your people get a chance to know both of them. I just, we're going to try to keep these things under an hour, and I'm fine if we end at 45 minutes. But I just want to mention one other thing that I've been doing that's really made an impact. I've helped a number of my people that have been in this thing for 6 months swap some coins this week. Most people have never swapped any coin. So whether they've had rentals or perpetuals or micros, anybody that's got $150 to $250, have them move it from their piggy bank into their wallets, have them go in there and have them swap they can swap 25% of it, 50% of it. You can swap all of it and have them get more natural gas. Because, and what they'll see is if you swap $250 worth of grow for natural gas, you're going to get like 2.5 million or 3 million natural gas. And if in your mind, you know, this thing is, every natural gas is eventually going to be $1, you just took $250 and turned it into millions of dollars. When they see how easy it is and how they can just look at it and toggle back and forth and see, you know, see what impact these coins that they have can make in changing the makeup of their portfolio, it's really powerful. So, because the other thing is, then you can explain to them, this is the off ramp. Because most people, they get in their head, this is just a theoretical thing, because they have no idea how to get this money out to their bank account. But if they swap some Explorer, some BEV for nat gas, you can say, you know what, you just did that. It took 30 seconds. Next time, if you want to get $500 out, all you do is swap for USDT. Same way. Once it's USDT, send it to crypto.com or Gemini or Coinbase, sell it for cash and send it to your bank account. And they're like, oh, that's so easy. And it gives them a sense of freedom and power. It empowers them with something that's kind of a high-tech thing. So I think walking people through it and having them do it with their money on their app, it becomes real for them. They get ownership of it. And it really elevates their ownership and engagement with this company. So
that was great, Doug and Eric. I'm getting in the chats, I don't know if you guys are seeing, but Elise is asking two questions. How do we get our hands on the Biz Pro app? And then she's asking if we can do a live example of how you're swapping the coins.
Oh, well, you know what? I can just explain it to you. I think so. Just open up your phone, those of you want to do this, because you have to do it on the phone. You can only swap on your phone.
I don't know if she's set up with the app yet, though. Elise, do you have the app set up, or are we gonna have to work on that?
I have the X node and I have the debt box.
X node.
one.
Yep.
Is
So
that
no,
what I need?
you want to go to X node, not IX. So go to the X node, the actual debt box app.
Okay, so not the one that's connected with IX Global.
Correct.
That, okay,
Yeah.
I have that.
Yep, great. Because the debt box app on your phone is your bank account. IX Global is just a membership club, education company, and that sort of thing. So the X node, this is where your money is. And so when you first log in there, you're in the rewards section. In the lower left-hand corner is your wallets. So you want to click in the lower left-hand corner, you want to click on the wallet icon and pop up your wallets.
Hold on, I just have to do the authenticate thing.
Okay,
It makes me, I'm not fast enough yet.
it's okay.
And while they're doing that, I don't know if you guys saw, but I talked to Joe when I texted him in the beginning of this training, and he said that XPLR and aluminum are both down to 1,500 right now, and those are the two that will be on sale for IX Global.
Until July 4th.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sarah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I need a clarification on that too.
Yep. It's too bad they didn't include DCM in that, but it'll be
I
a
have a feeling it's gonna
showed- It showed in some sort of a message in the app area, the message board or chat
Right,
or whatever.
so
it is,
that's
it showed
for
that-
just debt members, DCM. But for IX Global, the aluminum and the Explorer, what they're putting on sale, but we know that DCM will be dropping soon as well.
Yes, yep. So yeah, both aluminum and Explorer, both really solid projects. So okay, great. So do you see the wallet in your lower left-hand corner? When you click on that,
Yeah.
immediately the first three buttons you're going to see are buy, sell, and swap. Just click on swap. You really cannot mess this thing up. You really can't.
See that? I see send, receive, and swap.
Swap, I'm sorry, but yeah, swap, I'm not looking at it, but swap. So just click on swap, and then you
Yeah.
just, the top one, you just select what you want to swap.
Doug, doesn't you need to have BNB to do that though?
You do need to have some, yeah, I always have BNB in my account. So you do need to have some BNB in your BNB wallet,
What's BNB?
a Binance token. So you
And-
need to get some, you'll need to get, and Sarah can help you with this. You just need to get some, and you should always have 20 to 50 bucks worth of BNB in your wallet at all times.
We'll get you set up with that, Elise. And then also, I know we've been looking for an exchange in Australia, and Eric gave me that information for you earlier today, at least.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, so listen, all you do is this is all you do, and you can click on 25%, 50%, or 75% or all. And if you click on all, it shows you exactly how much of the one on the bottom you're going to receive, how many coins. But you can also, there's a little box there. Let's say you wanted to do exactly, like if you're going to be withdrawing and you're going to do USDT, you would just type in $100. Or if you need $115 for something, you would just type in 115 in that upper box, and then it'll give you exactly how much you need to get $115 of USDT or BNB or whatever you're going to be receiving. So you have the choice of doing 25, 50, 75 or all, or typing an actual dollar amount in. And this is all it takes. Now, and then you just, once it's accurate and you want to swap $254 worth of Explore for NatG, you look at it, looks good. You're gonna pay 10% on this, which they're gonna take out of it, and there's gonna be a little bit of slippage. So, but that's you just have to focus on the net amount of product you're gonna get, and then all you do is you just hit swap, and it's gonna ask you 2 times to do your 2FA. So you've got 2 chances to review it again and agree, and then it's a done deal. And within 5 seconds, it's happened, and that's it. And then you can withdraw it, or you just hold on to it. And this is what we've been doing, is because because
I just tagged oh, sorry, go ahead.
let me just finish that thought, because one of the other things that's really important is having people write down their goals, right? And have them focus on 3 or 4 or 5 projects or whatever it is, and write down, they want 10 million NatG, I want 100,000 black gold. Write this down. And then when these tokens, if there's a dip of like 30% or 47% over the course of a week, swap some of the coins that are up for the ones that are down, that are in your goals, to get you to your goals. So, because if you get some people at 10 million NatG, if it goes to a nickel, like Jason thinks it's going to go to a nickel, and they've got 10 million of them, they got $500,000. It's just really easy to calculate. And with 100,000 BLDG, it's at 0.5 of a penny right now. You can just watch it. And when there dips, buy more of it. And then, black gold is going to go up as well. So anyway, these things, having people write down some goals where you're teaming up with them. And I put some reminders down on some of the people I work closely with that I know have some coin to work with. I put reminders down of what they want to do. And then if I see it, because I'm on my phone all day and I'm looking, if I see one of the things, I go, oh, you know what? Catherine Ann, I know she's trying to get to that 10 million mark on NatG, and it's down right now and Explore is up. I'm going to just ping her and she can go in and take advantage. And if she does it, maybe she'll call me and say, hey, anyway, but I just want a couple of months ago, we had that little glitch where one of the family office wallets was hacked, and the hackers dropped every single coin they had on the open market instantly. And NatG dropped by 90%. And Eric was, because he was organized and he had his coins ready to go, boom, he went in and took advantage of that 90% off sale on NatG. And within the course of like a week, it was right back up where it had been. And now, it's 23.0023, and it's going to start picking off these zeros. So you just want to be ready. That's what I'm saying. Coach your people to have 20 to 50 bucks of BNB in their wallet at all times. Have them know which coins they're willing to give up and which ones they're not, and why. This is a strategy. This is the part that I really enjoy. This is what set DebtBox really apart. And you're not going to get everybody on board with this, but if you get people and you educate them and you show them how, and this is where Eric is he's just a genius. He's a gift, because he knows how to take money and make it just multiply overnight. This is what he's been doing for 20 some odd years in other 25 years. And he's doing it here now. So we can all learn from him. So, let's knock out some of the nuts and bolts on these calls, figure out how to get people signed up properly, how to educate people, and then let's help people make good decisions so that they see their money grow. Because one of the things that we haven't had yet, for those of us that have been in about 6 months, 6 to 9 months, we haven't had a big win. When one of these things does a 5,000x or a 10,000x, and you're going to have an amazing story to tell. We haven't had that yet. We are all going to have that. So, but we need to have people on board. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there.
That's awesome, Doug. I mean, did you get your question answered okay, Elise?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so powerful. I just want, I don't fully get everything that he's saying, so I'd like some more training on that. I'm only 1 week in, so I just feel like a sponge, and I just want to know more and more and more and more, because
Sure.
I want to be one of those success stories.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
want you to as well. Yeah. So
And I tagged a video in the chat, you guys. It was.
And I shared it in the messenger group too. I saw you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a good one. It's one I use all the time. I share with people. And it kind of goes into depth, showing some stuff. One thing, you guys, I don't know if you caught it when you watched the interview the other day with Jake and with Joe, where Jake was talking about the built-in calculator in the SWAT. Did you guys hear that?
yeah, wow.
Okay. So, and I've played with this before a little bit, but I didn't really realize how they've really integrated this in. So when you go to the swap, you can then in the top, you can put the USDT, and then you want to pick the project that you want to see what potential future value of the coin is. So let's say NatG. I wish I could show it to you guys, but you can go in and pick the USDT, and let's say you pick in NatG on the bottom. You can go in and say, okay, based on where the project's at right now and the amount of coin that is available for that particular project right this very minute, if that project, say, was worth $100 million, okay, and you put in the USDT part, you put $100 million, it shows you the potential value of what NatG's coin would be based on that. And I figured that out yesterday at $100 million in that particular project, puts the coin at about 37 cents. So it gives you an idea as these projects build, more royalties, burnings happen, halvings happen, because there's less coin, which creates more value of what the projects are as they're making money. So let's say that project generates $1 billion one day. $1 billion, a lot of money. So 10 times the 100 million. Well, now you're looking at going from 37 cents to $3.70 based on the current numbers right now. And I'm only sharing this because we don't know what it's going to be. But, you know, when you're running these numbers, I could see NatG being $100 million project. I don't know about you guys, but I can, based on the oil well and the natural gas agreements and all this stuff that are coming into place. I can see natural gas being $100 million project. I can see DCM being that as well. You know, so when you go in and you kind of figure these out, it's very interesting. He talked about that, and that's kind of fun to play with because it kind of gives you guys a little perspective of what these projects potentially, if you base them on $100 million project, of what the value of those coins could be potentially right now. So I just thought I'd just share that with you guys.
That's awesome. I just want to add one other thing. Now that you all know how to swap, you could now follow along. So if you go watch the video, go get the video of Jake and Jason, because this isn't just our projects, right? If you go in there and you put the USDT, and then you put the debt token on the second one, and you can put in $100 million. Let's say you could put it, because every project that they onboard from the outside onto their new debt, the base chain, when they get onto the level 1 blockchain, which is going to be probably 6 months, probably Q1 of next year, which is not that far away. Every project that comes in is going to raise the value of the debt token. And you can see it's just a mathematical equation. If it's a $10 million project, they pay a certain amount, and they have to use debt to run their blockchain. So what the point is, all of this stuff, it's all about transparency, and it's all sort of mathematical, and we can figure out where it's going. This is not an arbitrary thing like Shiba Inu or Dogecoin or something like that. And it's even getting more and more and more just mathematical. And that's why Travis came out and he was giving a projection for NatG that seemed a little aggressive to me. Jason's coming out and saying, nickel or whatever. These guys, they've just been with the math for so long. It's not an if, it's just a matter of when. Is it 6 months or is it 2 years? But NatG is going to be a nickel. So just go in and look and see it, at the price today. How many of them do you want to have? And how are you going to get them? So anyway, I hope this was helpful to people. if you have topics, if there are things that you want us to talk about where we prepare for a few days for these things, just pop it in that message group that Sarah set up and say, hey, I want you to talk about more about swapping, or I want to talk, we want to revisit the binary thing again. It didn't make sense. Yeah, just so we have ideas and know what you guys want to hear about. So, yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, any other questions that anybody has before we call it a night or a day for some? Yes.
I have one question, but it's completely has nothing to do with today's topic, but it's a really quick question.
Sure.
As far as when you get these different memberships, I know some of them include hosting, but I don't know how much hosting is included in which memberships. Do they all include hosting? Because some people have asked me this question and I have no idea. And when I try to go to the membership, I don't see anything that says, okay, you get X amount of hosting credits or any of that stuff.
It is listed right there when you pull it up.
It is listed.
Yeah,
Where?
it says, so there's on the base plan, I think it's 3. On the $130 membership, it's up to 10 of them. It shows, because that's how they're, it has to be listed there because that's what people are buying. Because otherwise everybody would only do the micro packs. So let me just, I think I have it right here. Just,
And it's
Oh,
only
yeah.
on the micro packs. They don't include any hosting. It's just the
All
one,
the micros don't need hosting.
right?
Yeah, all the micros have their own hosting, yeah, so you don't need to worry about
so,
that.
right. So if you just, wherever you're looking at the memberships, if it's a screenshot or you're going to a PDF, just look at the memberships, the IX memberships. The 3 of them include hosting. And then you've got the combo packs below. And then over on the right, you have the micro memberships. And those don't include any hosting for obvious reasons. So, yep. So thanks. That's a great question. And we have to, keep asking these kinds of questions so we can get it really clear.
And when it says 3 hosting credits, does that mean it's hosting 3 licenses, or how does that work?
Yes. 3 licenses, 3
Is it
different.
3 licenses or 3 months? Because if somebody has one
It's-
license, then it would be 3 months, right?
Oh,
Yes,
right,
correct.
it's a cycle, right? It's 3 cycles.
The 3 cycles, right? Yeah, so and this is what I tell people, if you have 20 or less perpetuals, at least though numbers work out, if you have 20 or less perpetuals, make sure that you have at least the hosting credits and or purchase one perpetual, the V box itself, because it's $1,000. And by the time you run the numbers on the hosting credits and everything on that amount, it can be right up there as well. So if you can afford to get at least the one V box for the $1,000, it's a better play, because then you can host up to those 20. But if you have 3 or 4, then probably just paying for the hosting credits is a better way to go. Then excuse me, then have to go out and sell it for a V box.
Right, either getting the $130
Yep.
membership every month, which more than covers your hosting, or if you really like the $250 micro package, go for that and you just buy the credits, $5 a month, or just buy by the year. I mean, it's so easy to do the hosting. It shouldn't really be a deterrent on that. So
Can I ask a quick question on that?
yes,
So if I have 5 license right now running and I haven't purchased any additional, and I don't have that hosting, are they sitting there not cranking out coins or tokens
First-
for me?
the first month is included when you buy a perpetual. So again, Elise, you're talking about perpetuals, not micro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah, so the first month is covered now. It used to be a whole year. But so you have 30 days. Within the first 30 days, they're mining right away. But you need to get with Sarah and Kevin and get that hosting, figure out how you're going to do that on an ongoing monthly basis for those and additional ones. And, if you're going to be buying more, if DCM is going to drop to $1,000 and you're going to buy 3 or 5 of those or whatever, just start to figure in just handling the $1,000, get the V box. It's forever. You just never think about hosting ever again. So,
For 20 separate licenses eternally.
oh, I'm sorry, up to 20.
Up
Yeah.
to 20 per
Per
V
V-Box.
box, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay. So I just want to say thank you to everybody to being on this call. We really appreciate it. And Also, I just want to say, thanks, Henry, for being here. You've been on a number of our calls and, I hope it's helping you and appreciate you being here. And just Sarah, I just want to say, best of luck with your recovery. I hope you feel better and, really soon completely. So, and
Definitely.
thanks for hosting tonight.
Absolutely. And Doug, Henry is asking, where is the message groups?
Oh, I'll invite Henry to
We-
to the Facebook group. Yep.
Yeah, and he might, I don't know if Henry, if he can hear it, but maybe he doesn't have the Telegram group. I think he's in the Telegram.
Well, you know what I'll do is I'll get with Henry and I'll get him let me just, while you guys are saying hello and goodbye or whatever, let me add the file for, can I pop a file in here? How do I can't see how to do it. I'm going to put it in, I'll get Henry into the Facebook, our message group.
Okay.
And then, and I'll post a text version of our onboarding with all of the links. So it's nice and clean. You can have a clean copy because it probably won't copy well from here anyway. So yeah, I'll get you invited to that, Henry, so you have access to that because Christina and my group over there is, gone a little bit quiet right now, but this one's more active and it's all these folks. So we'll take care of that.
Great.
So do we have any other questions before we call it a night? Anybody? No?
Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, right, good, okay. Well,
Excellent.
we'll keep plugging away. Yeah, give us ideas of things. I've got a couple that I'm going to talk to Sarah about that I think that I make notes as I'm going along, like, oh, maybe we should talk about this. So, and then we can kind of help with stuff because I think we try to keep it just as simple as we can, you guys, as simple as possible. And you guys will catch on to this. You already are. You guys are doing great. So
We'll call it a night here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Encourage your teams to hop on here with us. I know not everybody's aware that they're going on. I think this is our third or fourth one. So just remember every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And for Australians, it's 11 o'clock in the morning for you guys on Friday mornings.
Awesome. Okay. Have a good week, everybody.
thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.